What is going on, Illumineers? It's your boy Hazed here with Freedom Gaming. I am back at it with another Blurple video. For those of you that have kept up with our channel and look forward to these Blurple videos or have asked about them, I appreciate you. I know I've had a couple people DMing me and asking, hey, where you at with set 7 or Arcasia's Island? Anything that you think Blurple can get from this set and think questions like that. So happy to put a video together. For those of you that haven't played this color combination before, Sapphire Amethyst, welcome. It's a very fun color pairing because you get to draw a lot of cards, you get to have some answers, and you get to ink ahead of everybody else, or ramp, as some people will say, so that you can play all those cards that you drew. It's a very fun color combination with a lot of cool tools within the color pairing. So my approach to set 7, Arcasia's Island, is I wanted to kind of shake up the Blurple core as it's been known in the past, right? So what I did is I probably played 75 to 100 games so far within the new set, really testing stuff that isn't the Blurple core. Now, my disclaimer before we go through this whole video, do I think that this is better than the standard Blurple core? Not enough testing yet. Again, only with less than 100 games. I don't think there's enough testing to say this is strictly better than what it was in the past, blah, blah, blah. I just wanted to try some of the new tools that we got to see how good this could be. And out of my 100 games, this is the best version of the deck that I have found. So that's my disclaimer before we get started. There's going to be a lot of discussion points within this video because although I have a deck list built, there are some things that are so fluid that I'm changing back and forth pretty often. So let's go ahead and dive right into it. As you can see, we have some of the cards that those of you that have played this deck color combo in the past are familiar with. We're playing a few 1-drops. We're on 8 1-drops right now. So 4 Chernobog's Followers, 4 Brooms. We are still on Tipo, so 4 Tipos, 4 Mim Foxes, 3 Crabs. Here's a new one for you from set 7, Arcasia's Island, Belle. I think she's probably one of the most talked about cards so far for set 7. I think she's going to have a very big meta impact with any color pairing that includes Sapphire in it. We're on 4 Genies, which obviously everybody's familiar with from last set as well. 4 Rabbits, another purple staple. 2 Belle Accomplished Mystic. 4 Elsa, 5 drops. 1 Dragon Mim. And now we're getting into some of the fun stuff here, right? So we're on 2 7-drop Grammatalas and 2 Big Elsas. These are not in here just because it's like, hey, let's play the most enchanted. And actually, this is a miss, huh? I don't even have the Dragon Mim enchanted in here. It is not that. These are some tools that I'm trying, and I want to see how it works out. We're on 4 Friends, 4 All Is Found, which is another new card from set 7, 2 Let It Goes, 4 Popsicles, and 4 Libraries. So, what is this deck trying to do that's different than it's done in the past? You can notice within this deck list, there's no Sail the Azurite Sea, which is a very big card from last set. We've replaced Sail with All Is Found. So, game plan is, turn 1, try to find a Popsicle with a Belle. Right? That gets you a 3/3 on turn 1. That can sing Friends the following turn. So, it's a really cool combo that you can pull off. And I mean, the dream scenario, and I know this is a lot of cards, but the dream scenario would be turn 1, Popsicle, Belle. Turn 2, play Tipo, ramp something. I'm sorry, turn 2, sing Friends, play Tipo, ramp something. Turn 3, shift Belle, and sing All Is Found. Insane. Probably not going to happen. I think I've done it like once. But just a crazy little line that's within the deck. I wouldn't mulligan for that line specifically, but it is a very cool line to find. I mean, you're untapping on turn 4 with, when you ink, will be 7 ink. So, very, very cool there. Some other cool play lines that you can take within this deck. Having a Popsicle out on 7 ink, you can play a Belle for free. Like if you top deck the Belle, play the Belle for free if you have one other character, and then play the Mim Dragon. I've done that a few times as well, which is a little cheeky way to get a Mim Dragon out. So although we're not playing Sail, Belle is technically a form of ramp because you're obviously playing a 3-drop for 1. So it is a form of ramp. And then we have All Is Found, which is this is again a new card from this set. You put up to 2 cards from your discard into your inkwell face down and exerted. We are pretty good about getting cards into our discard, so we typically have some gas for that. Oh man, did I just screw up here? Let's go back to our decks. Yeah, I have a lot of decks there. Oh, we got to make sure we're human here too. Sorry, guys. I shouldn't have clicked that. Should have just zoomed in with it without going back. All right, here we go. We're back to the deck view. Um, so that's what the deck wants to do is ramp up all is found. You can combo with Grammatala. Obviously, every time you put a card into your Inkwell with Grammatala, you gain 1 lore. She's also a 4/8 body, which is very relevant in what I believe is going to be a steel meta. There's obviously going to be a lot of red-blue, but I think a lot of steel decks got a lot of tools. So Tala's a little harder to remove, especially if you're not playing blue-steel, because you got to think 8 characters or Zeus and 3 characters. That's a lot of ink and a lot of card for Tala. So I think she's interesting. She's on the chopping block though. I'll be honest. I have done some cool stuff with her, but she creates this threat that if you have her out, you can play all this found, gain 2 lore, quest with her, gain another 2 lore. Tipo, if you play Tipo and ink something, you gain a lore. Because again, this deck draws a ton of cards. Because you still have the library, we still have the friends on the other side, we have the rabbit, we have a few ways to bounce it, and then Genie. So we're drawing a ton of cards with the 1-drops as well. So that being able to ramp off a Tipo is not a big thing at all. So again, I'm going to go through some of the card choices we have. We talked about Popsicle already. We're only on 4 items within the entire deck, which you may think is like not enough to get Bell enough, but it happens more times than you think. And even if you play the Popsicle, it's still drawing a card, right? So there's a lot of times with Blurple that you have that extra 1 ink on a turn. If you ramp the head or anything like that, you're like, man, what do I do with this 1 ink? Playing this Popsicle and just cycling that card is great, because now whenever you do find that Bell, it's coming in for free, right? Because they're not just going to blow up the Popsicle, especially if you're not on Hiram or Flaversham, anything like that really cares about it. They're probably not going to blow up the Popsicle. I mean, they can, but most likely you're going to get a Bell for free there. Or you can use it to heal something, which is also relevant in some scenarios. So yeah, we talked about Bell a little bit. Again, we're only on the 4 Popsicles. Even as a 3-cost 3/3, not the worst card in the world. That stat line is still okay. It can still sing friends on 3, so it is not the worst. Like the floor of the card is not bad, because she's also a shift target for our 5-cost Bell that we're playing as well. And we talked about all is found a little bit, so I guess I could have just forwarded instead of backing out and messing up the screen, but hey, we live and learn, right? So all is found, one of the coolest enchanted arts in the set, I think, is also a very cool card. So my idea was to play more 5-drops to be able to sing this. Now, because Elsa is probably the best option, because normally you play Elsa, tap something down, swing in. Elsa most of the time lives a turn. So you can normally sing all is found the following turn and not have to ink from hand. So if you have some good cards in hand, you hold that, you just hit all is found with Elsa and do whatever else on the board, play the board, and you don't have to ink from hand. And now you have a lot of ink the following turn, which is what we want, right? We either, with Blurple, you want to ramp to where you're playing these big bombs, or you're playing multiple threats across the board, going super wide with all the ink that you have and all the draw power you have. So all is found has felt pretty good. Again, like I said, guys, this is super fluid. We're still really early in the set. I'm still testing these set 7 cards, and I'm not 100% sold that they're better than the core we had in previous sets, but I wanted to get you guys something new and refreshing, right? Tala we talked about. You can combo potential. 4/8 body stat line is really good. She is inkable too, so still a good card. I was on 4-cost Tala for a little bit, but it just seemed like Genie was better. The deck's only on 10 uninkables, by the way, too, which is insane. It feels great. The 10 uninkables feels really great. So yeah, for Tala, I was on the 4-cost one, but Genie was better, even with the shift line, because you don't really want to play her like on shift and then sing all is found. It feels kind of like like not a great play. You almost want to all is found after you get her out, or all is found into her. So that was my big thing with her. I cut the 4-drop Tala because of that. This Chernobog has potential because, like we mentioned, we're trying to play some 5-cost cards that have an effect on play, and then you're able to sing with after. So Chernobog does hit that threshold kind of well. He's uninkable. That's like the one thing, but I don't hate testing this card a little more. I tried him for a very small time within the games I've played. It's good against Ward, because obviously they're probably going to exert the other stuff and leave the Ward character up, so this gets around that, so you're able to swing into the Ward and then he can sing either Let It Go or All Is Found the following turn. So there's potential for this card to come in at some point. If you guys do follow along on the Dreamborn, I'm gonna link the deck list below. Just know that I change the deck a lot because I'm always like tuning and messing around with the deck list. So if you do, you're gonna be like, man, when he had this card, it happens. I make a lot of changes. So yeah, this is definitely an option. Ursula is another option. I was thinking if I wanted to ramp ahead, like this would replace Tala, just as another good card. It's a 4/7, so now the characters can't sing. This would probably help our green-blue matchup, which I think green-blue is going to be a pretty popular deck. They like to sing a lot of songs, so this would stop that from happening. And she also exerts characters when you quest with her, so that is also a good little effect for hers, but she's just terrible against red-blue, which is obviously a big deck right now. Right back to what we were talking about with 5-cost cards that have some effect that you can still don't mind singing with. Aurora hits that, so she's going to give our other characters ward. If I was going to play her, I'd probably want to play some smaller Auroras, which there's just not enough space in the deck. You could play a couple of these as just the protection, but I don't know. Like, if you go Genie into Aurora, it's kind of good against a lot of decks. Like, you're making them have that brawl right off the rip. And if they don't have the brawl, now red-purple's done, right? Like, they can't do anything until late game because they can't really interact with Aurora either. Red-blue would just, use their coil and Sisu the Aurora and then deal with Genie another way. So there's options, but this is another interesting one, but it's probably just a little too slow. This Queen is a cool card. I think if I was going to play the Queen within Blurple, I would do, like, teapot shenanigans to where you're taking the top card of the deck and really filling that graveyard so you can get a lot of use out of her tap ability. Not really there yet. I think in the Blurple shell, it could be worth exploring, but it would be a completely different deck. So yeah, I like this card. I think it does have a lot of playability, just not within this shell that I have here. Rafiki, I tried this. So beginning of the deck, I tried a bunch of 1-drop Rafikis and the 9-cost Rafiki to shift onto, and All Is Found would draw you 2 cards, as well as ramping you 2, and he does quest for 4, which is a lot. Just ultimately ended up cutting it, because again, shift 7 is super high, and then that Rafiki just kind of sits there and does nothing. You could play this as like a one of, because I think it's better than, say, a Mufasa. I tried Mufasa too. I really did. But with red-blue running rampant right now, it's just so bad because one coil trigger and their entire deck can kill a Mufasa, and you're bouncing back your ramp. So it's kind of rough. I will say the Mufasa into All Is Found is insane. Like, if you do get to untap with Mufasa, playing the All Is Found and immediately using that 2-ink after you quest the Mufasa is a cool little trick you can do. But yeah, so Rafiki was, and ultimately ended up being cut. I could see it as a one of. Like, I wouldn't hate that as like a fun of, if you will. Because it does draw a lot of cards and it does quest for 4, so it is one of those bigger bombs. Kuzco is something I'm also considering right now, because with red-blue items being rampant, you're probably not going to hit the dime ever with Kuzco, because typically if they get dime out, it's off a free quest from the baby Tamatoa, the new Tamatoa from set 7, and they're probably winning. Like, it's going to be very hard for you to do anything, but Kuzco, I think, could hit the workshop, which is an issue for the matchup against red-blue items specifically, because it makes all of these items that are kind of dirtily become just draw a ton of cards, and if you just take that workshop away, it can win you a lot of games. So there's potential here for Kuzco. Also, his effect is not to be overlooked. It's a 4-cost, other characters gain resist +1 until the start of your next turn. You can activate it twice if you wanted. We obviously have a lot of ink within the deck, so you could start, trying to trade or aggressively questing, giving everything resist against the steel deck, and they're going to be in trouble. So I'm not. This also hits locations, which is another thing. I want to mess with this a little more. Like, he's probably potential to come in, and again, I know that there are probably a lot of you guys watching this video said, "Hey, you told me Kuzco is not good." True, in previous sets, but with the red-blue items, I really think you need to hit the workshop instead of something like a dime, because most red-blue items players that are good are not going to expose the dime until they're winning. because they don't want it blown up. So that would be my thoughts on that. Again, guys, if you are watching the video all the way through and you made it this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Those of you that reached out to me asking about my thoughts on Set 7, I appreciate all of you. Those of you that have never seen one of these videos before, I appreciate you as well. Look forward to updating this deck as we get more testing in. And as I said, if you the Dreamborn below will have my link to this deck list. It's probably going to change quite a bit because, again, I like to make changes, and I like to keep you guys in the loop when I do make those changes. I'm not gonna paywall or anything like that to keep you from seeing what I'm working on. We have a big tournament here at SSG next week, so right out of the box, Set 7 tournament, 10 cases. I'm excited for that. I'm probably gonna keep trying to make a Blurple deck work. So you'll have my list on Dreamborn as well. So again, thank you guys for hanging out. If you have any comments or questions, make sure you post them below, and we'll see you guys soon. Take care.